Hello guys and welcome back. So now we wanted to talk about something a little bit different than effects itself. And let me think. Yes, let's copy this part. Let's create a new GeoNode. And when we have an effect, when you have, let's say, a powering up effect or an energy or any build up effect, you need to convey that in some ways. You need to have, you need to convey that that's what's happening with this animation. It's either an energy coming in and forming and building up and then exploding, or it's a quick burst where it shows up for a couple of frames and then it dissipates quickly. And there is a huge amount of research that needs to go into the animation and curves and animation curves to convey the correct idea. For example, let's say we have, let's reduce the amount of points here. Let's say we have this guy here, and it's a, let's see, something like that. Let me reduce the amount to have something. Let's say this is an energy that's going to come from the sky, for example, or it's going to open all of a sudden and something is going to happen to it. Now what we can do is we can animate the scale, not the height, the radius of this. Okay, let's see. Let's add a transform, and we can animate the scale of this guy. Set it to frame 60, and we can create a keyframe by holding the Alt key, left clicking, and then go to the first frame, set this to 0, except the height, except the y-axis, and if we hit play, we get this. And if I shift click on this, we get the editor, and this is the curve of the animation right now. So let's select, why do we have another key here? You right click, delete keys, just need this. So I'm gonna select it, middle click and drag, and that will move the frame. And now you see, let's do it 20 frames, yeah, 16. So if we hit play, let me change the range to 20, 25, hit apply. We did this using this button here. And now I'm gonna change it to, yeah, let's loop. So if we play, you can see the curve, how you can see the expansion, how it's happening. I'm gonna increase the circle, this guy a bit to show this better. Cool. So let's say this is the energy and this is how it's expanding. Okay. The curve that we have right now, it's not conveying that. It's not conveying, it's just a simple fall off that it has. And we need to give this better use of the timing. So for example, we can have it stay on longer at the state where it's closed and then quickly snap to its highest size. And the way we do that is by playing with the curve. This is something that only animators know really well how to work with, because they study timing. We don't. Effects artists don't study timing, and you just gotta have to learn all this stuff by yourself. So let me set this to always on top, and let's hit play. And it looks like I was changing just one curve, yeah. So I don't need the y-axis, I'm going to delete that. Delete. Let's just delete the animation here. Right click, delete channels. And now I have these two guys only. And I'm going to work on them both at the same time. Okay. And now if we hit play, see the difference? It stays on at its state for a longer and then snaps quickly. We can change that. We can, let me copy this. You can change it to stay on to get to it, the state it needs to be quicker, and then continue in that state. Basically, it takes longer for it to get to the position that it needs to be at, and then takes longer for it to stay and finish. So this is a different version, and this type of animation, these curves are very, very important when it comes to effects, especially if you have some kind of energy or some expanding circle that it needs to create a blast in the end. You have to work with these curves and find the thing that gives you the best feeling. Okay, let me do another one. This one is not amazing. Let's create a circle. I mean, this one is not going to be amazing as well, but I think it will help better. So let's say we have let me change it to this. So let's say we have a circle, and this is going to be a blast, for example, an energy expanding from the center, and it's going to expand quickly, and then stay on for a couple of frames, and then dissipates. Okay, and let's use the color as well to help with this, because we want it to be black at the beginning when it's not visible, and then use the color to also convey this. So let's leave that, set it to 2. I'm gonna add a transform node, and I want it to be full on at frame 80. I'm gonna use the transform scale, it's easier. Uniform scale, sorry. I'm gonna set it to 0, and let's play. So right now it's the usual curve, and there is these presets that we could try as well, and it could help with this. So let's set this to always on top. Let's hit. So now it's linear almost. Let's drag this in even more and line this up. See, the animation is different now. It stays on. Now it's snappier because there's a lot of change that happened in a very short amount of time. Let's drag this even more. So it snaps there quickly. Let's invert this. Let's do it like that. See, now it's completely different effect, and this is probably what you want to go for in terms of a radial expansion. So let's say the field expands. It adds there's something that happens during that time. Let's say noise or a color change, and then it dissipates. Now, how it's gonna dissipate? Let's increase this to 50. And let's say it stays on for 12 frames, so up to 30. I'm going to set this to 1, and then we want it to scale up and dissipate. Now that will give it 16 frames. Okay, and I want it to expand to 3, and I will dissipate it as well with the color at that time. So from 30 to 0 to this. So let's find the correct animation that we need. So it opens. It does something. Maybe another a beam of light hits it when it expands, like a mage expanding its ring to cast a spell. It expands. A beam comes in, and then it fades off. Now, how do we do the fade off? Let's see. Well, let's give it a try. Let's do this. Not working. Let's try this. Let's see. I need to break the tangent. Using this shortcut here, untie values. And I wanted to get to that state quickly. Okay, I definitely like this part here, but I wanted to go easy. I like, let's try this, I like it to transition. Not so much. Let's try. Now I wanted to slow down towards the end, so I'm gonna do a linear value, and let's try this. It looks like there is another keyframe somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna leave it. Yeah, I like this. So it's not too sudden. And we're gonna use the color. Now the color, I believe it's not easy. We don't have a way to fade geometry in the viewport, so a quick way to do this is changing the background to black. And then here for the color, we said the frame starts at 30, so we're gonna do the same thing. And then it goes up to 46. We want it to be pure black. Okay. And one thing we can do is, I'm gonna delete this. So I'm gonna copy this and paste relative reference here and paste relative reference. And what it does is it's gonna link these attributes so they are dependent. Whatever we set this guy to, the others are going to follow. And this way we can just animate one attribute instead. So set key, go to frame 46 and set another key, and it's 0 here, so let's set a key. It's fine. Commit change, go back here and set it to 1 and commit change. Yeah, cool. Let's hide this. So it looks like it's not getting to black here for some reason. It's not. Oh, it's the specular. So if we do press D on the viewer, go under effects, turn off specular, and turn off ambient, I guess, emission, all that stuff, and change this to flat shaded. So now we don't see anything from the geo. Cool. I think this the dissipation is working, but let's play with the values a bit more. So it starts at 1. We can have it stay on longer at 1, and then quickly get to the, or stays on longer and then slowly dissipates. Or we can have it reach the black state much faster, and it takes longer to finish the last bit. Yeah, I this is what I like. So this is my favorite version, and you can see, let's go back. I'm gonna copy these two and show you guys the difference. So I'm gonna set these to linear and set these as well to linear. All of them, all the transition. Let's hit play. And see how boring it is? And with just couple of, well, I don't know if it's just couple or if it's a lot of work, I'm not so sure. But with some work, we were able to make it look a lot more interesting. And these things, believe it or not, they are a crucial part of creating effects. So you can time these build-ups. Let's say you have an energy, it's not just linearly showing up, it's slowly coming in, it has a specific build-up, and then as it evolves over time, it changes color and things like that, and then dissipates. So let's continue this. I like this version, so I want to show you with the circle force. Let's see, where is that? Okay, Is it this guy? Yes. So with this, I'm gonna copy this version. And let's paste it. Unfortunately, we're gonna repeat some stuff. So let's scale this in. And let's set this to 1. Okay. This to 10. Okay, I'm going to delete this. And we're going to see this guy here. I'm going to copy this and paste it here. See what happens. So everything is smashed at that point. It expands. And does that. Let's copy the color as well. And we can do it as a post process. It's fine. Expands, it's full white. And dissipates. Okay, now this is what I want to do. When it gets here, I'm going to make it animated throughout the entire time frame. So this is, let's see. Okay, so we're going to set it 0 in the first frame. Right click, set keyframe. Go to frame 30. If you click here, it goes back. It changes between the two states. And let's increase this. Something like, let's try 0.4. Nope, sorry about that. Let's pause on. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Let's hit play. And I was about to animate this this guy. So let's do that. Let's go to frame 30. Set this to 1. Alt click, and then okay. Let's give it more animation. Say 5. Okay. Let's do 10. So it's 0 there, then 10 here. So let me delete. No, I don't like this animation. Something is not correct. Right click, set keyframe. Go back, alt click on this box here. Okay. Cool. So let's set another keyframe where it's fully expanded. And that would be 46. And with this, I'm going to move it backward. So I'm going to set to -5, which is pretty high. But let's see how that looks. Okay, let's shift alt click on this. And let's take a look. Now, what I don't like is with this is the beginning feels very uniform, and I wanted to go as fast as possible into the moving state. Okay, and then here I wanted to stop only towards the end. So something like that. So it stays in that range. Something like that. So you see it starts quick, it stops during that time, and then continues back again. Now we can change this so that it's always linear and always changing. If this value is static, it's gonna stop from moving, basically. Which could be cool. I mean, I think this is fine as well. I just don't know why that grid, where is that grid coming from? know there is a construction plane, but I don't know where that plane is coming from. Okay, let's play it again. Cool. So one more thing I want to add is, with this, I wanted to get more intensive towards the end. So I'm gonna do another change. So it expands here, and I wanted to start getting faster and faster from this to this frame. So let's set this to 16. Alt click, and I'm gonna make it linear, and this is linear as well. That's fine. Let's try. So it's moving, and it's getting faster and faster, and it stops at the end, which we're gonna fix. So here, I don't want it to go negative as well. I'm gonna keep it moving outward. So let's do this. And see, with each attribute, it's a different story. The animation, the curve animation needs to be very, very unique with that. So yeah, I like this. And then we can also add some rotation towards as it starts expanding. So here, I'm gonna set this to 0, and then I'm gonna set it to 10. Let's see what that does. Cool. So it's just an idea to convey better movement of the force. If we have everything linear, we're not going to feel anything. But at least with this, we feel that there is an interesting beginner, there is a middle section, and there is an expansion in the end. So it's 3 phases, and then each one of them has a unique characteristic. Now, these 3 phases thing is also very, very important. Unfortunately, I don't have a great example to show throughout this workshop. Most of the effects that we're going to be doing... No, I do have an example. So the... one second. So I have the portal, and that would be this. So this one, there is an expansion in the beginning, phase 1. Phase 2 is where it is in this state, and then it's cut in the edit, but that's the last part is where it closes. So this part, the states, is also a very important aspect of creating effects. In general, you have, for example, an energy field. There is the appearance, and then the second part is how it's going to protect or do whatever, or do the thing that it's supposed to do, and then disappear or gets destroyed or lose its resistance. So there is always states. If you have a portal light, if you have a portal effects, that also needs to convey it came into existing, it brought in something, and then it closed. So that's 3 states. You could have, for example, holograms, where someone wants to talk to someone else, and it shows up as a hologram. The hologram appearance has an animation, then there is the discussion, and then there is the end or the fade off. So all these things are very, very important to convey when creating an effect, and to also be very mindful of the animation curves when creating them. Again, I am not an expert in this field. Animators are the best users of time, and they know how to make the best out of each 10 frames or 2 frames or 3 frames. They can convey a whole lot more. And whenever you have animation of scaling or powering up or things like that, try to explore different things. It's very easy to end up with this, which is very linear, versus this, which is the more artistic version of the effects. Cool. Hope you guys like this. This is the final result of the force of the thing we increased the force for, and believe me, there is so many cool stuff that we could do with this. If we render it in comp it, we can achieve some really cool stuff. But hopefully we'll learn all of that throughout this workshop. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in a bit.